The robber loaded two 7.62mm bullets into the gun and hidden a pre-dug sandpit, waiting for the cash truck with $600,000 to arrive. But when the cash truck drivers saw a pile of sand on the road ahead for no reason, he immediately felt something was wrong. He swiftly grabbed the joystick and rotated the roof camera to scan left and right, but found nothing unusual. However, as soon as the driver carefully drove the car into the sand pile, the wheels of the car stuck into the sand. No matter how he stepped on the pedal, it was useless. Seeing this, Jack immediately set up a sniper rifle. The driver and the escort were both shocked and froze. He pressed the shooting button on the joystick, fired at the sand dunes in front of the cover. He quickly grabbed the walkie-talkie to request help from headquarters. Before the backups could pinpoint their location, another robber approached with a lower flamethrower. A massive fire snake erupted before the truck, engulfing its front instantly. With flames in the cab, the driver and escort acted quickly, opening the door in a hurry. They thought that they would not be burned to death. However, they do not know that this was exactly the trap set by the robbers, because Jack had already aimed at them with an 8x scope. He made sure the two of them had died on the spot. Jack ran out of the sandpit at the fastest speed and ran to the side of the money truck. Victor retrieved the spare tire from the sand. He quickly grabbed the jack and struck it against the left side of the money truck. The front wheel was lifted and the spare tire was replaced in 5 minutes. Meanwhile, other robbers unearthed the mesh steel plate buried in the sand based on pre-made marks. Another used a hook to pull it to the front of the money transporter and spread it out. This is the only way for the money transporters to progress smoothly in the desert. To avoid the sandpit, Jack followed his teammates' route and drove the transport vehicle into the sand cave they had previously dug. To stop the cops from tracking them, Jack quickly had a teammate climb the support frame and shift the steel plate overhead to conceal the sand cave's traces. It was unsafe, so Jack called a helicopter to use the propeller's force to evenly spread sand on the steel plate. As the helicopter circled, sand quickly covered the steel plates atop the sand cave, leaving a 40-centimeter diameter opening for entry and exit. As the helicopter finished its mission and was about to return, a red car suddenly sped towards the sand cave. The pilot, aware the driver had no visibility at that distance, still turned the plane's nose 360 degrees to avoid future issues. He hovered in front of the car, slid back, and raised his gun, ready to kill the witness. The driver was so scared that he peed himself and ran away without even closing the car door. Upon learning the news of the pilot's murder, Jack rushed over at the speed of a 100-meter sprint because he knew that once the driver's body was found by police, they would definitely investigate the desert. Their satellite library risked discovery, so they needed to find a pit to bury the driver's body. As Jack dealt with the body, a police car approached. The armored car driver had sent a distress message before being shot by the robbers, prompting the police to dispatch the nearest officer to the scene. As the police car approached, Jack quickly entered the vehicle and examined the documents inside. He pretended to be the driver and calmly answered the officer's questions. The police doubted Jack's identity, but without evidence linking him into the armored car, he couldn't arrest him. Many police cars rushed to the desert for a thorough carpet search. They searched for 3 days and nights but found no trace of the armored car's anchor. The sheriff was puzzled. How could such a large car vanish? Unknown to him, the armored vehicle he pondered was right beneath him. Jack seized the moment when no one was watching and returns to the underground yard cage to retrieve the money from the armored car with his teammates. But after studying for a long time, they found that the cylinder door of the armored car could only be opened from the inside, and also this meant that there were other escorts inside the car. So in order to force the escort to open the door, Jack put on a gas mask and put a bottle of filament into the car along with the gas. The escorts were soon suffocated. One of the escorts quickly took out a gas mask from the cabinet. Another escort, not so lucky, covered his mouth and nose with a wet towel. Realizing he was about to be suffocated, he quickly grabbed the microphone and negotiated with the robbers. "We can open the truck's back, but you must promise not to harm us. Otherwise, we won't open the door, even if we suffocate." Jack feigned agreement with the escort's request while secretly planning for his teammates to ambush the money truck. As the money truck steel plate was removed and the cover opened, Jack quickly surprised the escort with a fire. The other strong escort quickly pressed the switch, sealing the money transporter's steel plate with a tear of the cover. The robbers had no choice but to find a way to break through the bottom of the money transporter. They showed that they had made a mark was then raised, and the high-temperature electric welding wall of 1,000 degrees was intended to burn the chassis of the car. At this moment, the sound of a circling helicopter echoed above the pit, indicating that the cops likely realized the money transporter was hidden beneath the desert. The robbers panicked and quickly blamed each other. Some of the robbers began to move their hands. Hearing the robbers' internal strife, the escort took the opportunity to open the cylinder door of the money transporter, raised his gun and shot at the robbers crazily. However, just when the escort was checking whether the robbers were dead, Jack, who was heavily loaded, suddenly pulled the trigger and took the escort completely unaware. Jack raised the automatic rifle gun with difficulty until all the bullets was exhausted. Finally, a wrist-sized pothole was burned on the chassis of the transporter. He connected the wires of the security door inside the chassis, only to hear a hissing sound. The truck door opened instantly. Jack, thrilled, used all his strengths to break open the safe. Jack was happy to find not just minted banknotes, but also hundreds of shiny gold bars in the box. This money is unlikely to be spent in a lifetime. But will Jack finally escape with his bounty without being caught? Comment your answers below.